Hey everybody, how you doing? Jeeves here at the Decomposer Lounge on a Friday. Somewhere it's a Friday, but today it's a Friday. Actually, for me, it's a Friday only by 35 minutes. It's 12:35 in the evening, and I had a nice long day getting ready for some fundraising and stuff that I'm going to be doing on Twitch. But so I was getting ready to go, I don't know, I'm to bed, and then all of a sudden, boom, Spiritbox pops up on my browser. And I say, you know what? I don't think I've really given Spiritbox a good fat listen for quite a while, so I thought I'd jump right in. Plus, I'm a very big fan. There's something about the lead singer's abstract power of her vocals and melodies and stuff. Of course, the zip line of what she does, also with the incredible musicianship and arrangements of the band Spiritbox that supports the voice. A lot of words to say, so let's listen to Spiritbox. This track is Jade. I want to thank you guys, like usual, for support. I'm still humbled by it on Patreon and Cups of Coffee and all that. So the links are down below if you want to continue to support me in the channel. So let's do this. This is Spiritbox, and the name of the track is Jade. All right. Fat ambient sequence there.
I feel alone in my body. I feel a silence underneath. In these valleys of blood, in these rivers of rust, shoulder all the blame again. We were locked into the end. It was fine and rough. I was never enough. But what if I was stable enough to ride me down the road? Like the remora swam. What if I was inside 1,000 lives to get my goals? It's never enough, it's never enough. And I've always been ashamed that I wanna fall into a dream with my honor desecrated, but it's jaded. I've never found a way to be honest. All I know is a place where I haunted memories faded, but it's jaded. Am I tantalizing as a
Wow, a lot to unpack here. This style of production and metal and stuff is fast becoming my favorite because of the fact that it's just the way I feel and how I'm listening to things with dynamics and this infused use of heavy ambience a la synth vibe. At the very beginning, when I said there's kind of a beefy ambient vibe, is because of the type of kind of analog-y synth they're using to establish that kind of ambient opening that they did. Kind of came in hard, so I don't know if this is a song that has another kind of an intro to it. And then she does this little kind of soft tone chanting in the back that if I hadn't seen her do it in the video, I probably would have detected it in a different way. When we get into the riff, it's got that really kind of super genty kind of vibe, but the tones of the guitars now are changing so fast and they're getting so creative that it doesn't overglow, if you would, overpower the established ambient kind of vibe that's set there. Now, when Courtney comes in the first half of the verse, first verse, it's just pads, bass, drums, and Courtney. The second half of that particular section, maybe saw me kind of squint a little bit. What's going on there? And there was this really fast sequence going there. That's why I was doing this. It was more of a percussive sequence. It did have some tonal value to it, but it was then what happens is what I thought was a pre-chorus. She comes in just, now we get in with that dark, heavy guitar sound, and that riff comes popping back in. And she comes in with that Courtney that we all know and love, with that insanely powerful fried part of her voice. But she kind of gives us that, and it kind of takes it away a little bit and brings us back into more of her cleaner, glassier part of her voice. Brings back the hardness of her fry, and it gets us into this big fat hook. And the hook actually leans a little hotter on the synth ambient vibe, and the guitar kind of straightens out a little bit. And I think that's what rises the power of the hook to a place that what seems to be, there was this little, like, maybe one measure kind of like turnaround in the sense where they pulled everything out and just let it kind of bleed out ambient. And now we're getting back into a section now that I think it's going to be more of the gnarlier, authentic metal kind of vibe now that the chug is about to take over. I think. I don't know. Let's find out. What a great hook. Love the fact that whole second half, it was like full throttle on, 11. Just, you know what? I don't know. I kind of lose my mind a little bit on, I say genty. I don't know if that's correct because of its super low, rubbery, chuggy sound of it. But from when I just came back into this track all the way through to this place here, it was everything gnarly of Spiritbox's spirit as far as the punchiness of her performance. The whole thing was fried for her. And then, of course, the guitars now are taking all of the balls, and with the drums, of course, and bass, and keeping, the punchiness and the riff and the chugginess of it. But still throughout the whole background of that whole thing, there's this pseudo soundscapey ambient vibe that to me is paramount, and maybe in this particular movement of composition that I hear that's happening in metal, that works for me. That's almost like, for me, who's still kind of new at being a metal fan, when I get into these harder riffs and stuff like this, it's like, what else is a band going to bring other than a gnarly series of riffs and rhythmical patterns and stuff like that? And I think the ambient addition to production and composition for me personally gives me that, it's like that, I don't know, for those of you who've gone through surgery and stuff, but it's like that numbing agent that they might give you, the little shot to numb the area before they give you the big, big gauge shit, and that's what it feels like to me. It's like this last section was like this large gauge needle, just but the ambient thing is like the little needle of stuff they give you just to numb the area that they're going to give you the big gauge shit. I don't know why I just went on that rant, but I'm sure some of you are going to identify with that. Let me go back a little bit. God, I love this part. Wow. I've never found a way to be honest. All I know is a place where I haunted memories faded. Blood is remove the needle. I so dig this. For me, listening to this track, how I get, completely. Let me get into it better. Just a stop shot there. The synth and the sample textures that composers and arrangers, engineers, all et al. That are being used today, along with really unique reverb techniques, is still fun to listen to. As somebody who's like not really, practically composing as much as I used to when I was younger. So, but the ambient aspect of composition has always been a real powerful thing for me. That's why I'm known mostly for string arrangements and stuff like that when I did what I did back in the day. That little breakdown before the hook, that's another thing I want to say too. This song composition structure is fantastic. I think they've given us the hook 4 times, so it's really, really super memorable. Another thing is it's not really heavy laden background vocals, which I found to be unique in the sense that she's capable of really putting together some incredible background vocals. But to me, the background vocals took kind of a back seat when a lot of times there's big, fat, rich, thick harmonies that are kind of shoved in your face in a hook. And in this case, the decision to keep it mellow, I loved every bit of it. The little turnaround that was just that little synth thingy it sounded like it was an acoustic guitar. It could have been a doubled something on the keyboard, but that little synth pattern with the acoustic guitar before they go balls back in with the hook, to me that was like a little peel away section. I couldn't quite hear and I couldn't quite discern if that was a really quick stripped away version of an arrangement that still continued through, but then you started to pile on the drums and the guitar, and that kind of gets layered into that sonic cake of joy experience of the hook. So that kind of disappeared a little bit, but it's almost like giving us just a little smidge of like, this is in the arrangement, but you really can't hear it. But I mean, it's part of the arrangement, but it's in the mix, but you really can't hear it, kind of thing. And then finally, just the last bit of it, I was like, I love the fact that the drummer was just hitting quarter notes on the hi-hat on that bat, 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 and letting the rest of the track just breathe instead of getting overly complicated with a rhythmical arrangement, because the drummer can crush, obviously. But at the very end, he was just, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm feeling that. So anyhow, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This was a great listen. I'm glad I took a minute to listen to this before I go to sleep. I'm going to release it right now. What is it? It's 1 o'clock in the morning my time on Friday, on August 25th. Ooh, I just dated it. Oh, it'll date itself over here when I release it. You guys have a fantastic weekend and safe weekend and all the things that make it all worthwhile. Coming out on the other side and going, oh, shit, I got to do this again Monday. But right now it's Friday. You guys take care. Have a killer weekend. All right.